Welcome to The Sound, KQAL FM's weekly behind-the-scenes look at Midwestern-made music. From writing and recording to distribution and promotion, The Sound is your source for new releases and exclusive interviews from Midwestern artists. Support for The Sound is made possible by a grant from the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Rolling. Tonight on The Sound, we bring you Cyber Sunday from Minneapolis recording artist Future Babel. Cyber Sunday came out in March of 2025 and did not disappoint. Armed with fistfuls of digital ear candy, Future Babel twists up genres like a tornado in a cotton candy factory. Sweet, huh? From rock to pop to anit-pop to hyper-pop to rocktronic to punktronic to hiphoppoptronic. What? Whew, that's a lot. I'm Bill Stoneberg saying put on your future goggles and get ready to take a little trip with Minneapolis' own Future Babel and their new album Cyber Sunday tonight on The Sound.
On fire, burning the fuse of all my desires. I'm celebrating getting caught in a web, 'cause in my last life I ended up dead.
That was Dust, and that's the first track from the new album titled Cyber Sunday by Future Babel. And Future Babel's from Minneapolis area, and I have Future Babel on the phone with us tonight. How you doing, man?
Doing fabulous.
Awesome. This has been, I don't know if long time coming is the right word, but we've been trying to get this together for a little while now. New album came out, what, early or mid-March? March 21st, I believe? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And this is, so I refer to this is like the latest installment in what I kind of privately, affectionately refer to as the Future Babel saga here at the station, right?
I love it.
Because you, like, in the past, when we've talked, you said that that basically you have like a bunch of albums already written, most of it already recorded, and you're like strategically releasing it over time, Where are we at in that process with Cyber Sunday here? Is this like, where does this fit into the master plan, I guess?
Yeah, years ago I posted on social media that phase 2 had just begun, and now I'm thinking phase 2 is just ending.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I think this has like been a longer journey than I thought, and I think it's going to be longer than I initially planned, which I think is a good thing. And I got more music coming. I got more albums. I might have 1 or 2 more albums than I expected, and I think the sound is going to change over the next few years. But I'm just staying the course.
I love it.
Just making and putting out, and it's going to transition. Every album will sound different. So
yeah. So is this like do the albums kind of string together thematically as well? I mean, it seems to be to me, but that's a listener's perspective, like, I don't know. Is this all kind of one giant work then that we're looking at here?
That's a good question. I feel that there's continuity with the lyrics and the themes for sure. But I guess it's one big project, but with chapters, like you said, with sagas. So it's gonna shift over time. It's more like a mini series than a movie. Okay. But not quite a TV series with multiple seasons.
Sure. Right.
Everything relates to Netflix nowadays. So
yeah, exactly. So maybe instead of like big seasons, we have like acts in a play, perhaps.
Yeah.
Like different parts. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and I'm kind of, I love it. I'm blown away by this whole thing, and the way you're doing this. I just think it's really neat, really cool. Well, let's play another song for people because I want to talk about this next track too. The second track on the album is called Big Bang. And yeah, I have some questions, but I think we should play it for folks first so they kind of follow along and know what I'm asking about here.
Perfect.
I'm on the phone with Future Babel tonight. Future Babel has a new album out called Cyber Sunday, and we're playing that for you tonight. This next track is called Big Bang, and you're listening to it on the Sound right here on 89.5 KQAL.
The situation seems sincere, like a saint inside the city. In the chopping sea of civilized life, yeah, I'm beginning to think it's nice. Until it cuts you like a knife, with its commodity and fetish, and the spectacle of love. Yeah, there's beauty in the streets and the stars above. Big bang coming around. I was made out of light and I was born out of sound. It's all transitory, cause your fingers pick a method and set it right in. You set it right in. Hold tight, nothing has changed. unleashed. Keep crossing your fingers. The silhouettes of the past and the shadows of the prominent figures. Shouting bang, it's just something to say. Now we're spilling the pain. See the colors shining through the open skies. So the cyanic symbols shine a little bit of light.
That was Big Bang, and that's the second track off of the new album from Future Babel titled Cyber Sunday. And we have Future Babel in the studio with us tonight. All right, man. So this one, like, to me, this one falls like it's a little more catchy, I guess. At least to me, it was. You know, I really dig the chorus and how you say Big Bang, and there's a little like, I think it's guitar, a little riff that comes after that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And to me, that just, I don't know, that hooked my ear. I really dug it. Where do you, and I know we've talked about this before, but, you know, for any new listeners, where do you start when you're writing? Like, does it start with a melody? Does it lyrics? Is it chords? Like, is it like a hook like that? Like, where does it start for you?
Usually it starts at 4 a.m. when I get a song in my head and
Right.
I don't want to get out of bed. There's a Mitch Hedberg joke. He's from Minnesota. He always said, when I get an idea for a joke, in the middle of the night, I have to lay in bed for a half hour and decide if it's worth getting up to write down.
Oh, I love him.
Usually I determine it's not funny enough and I kind of like forget about it. But there's always some sort of starting point, like, you know, a drop in the clear lake that creates these ripples. And for me, it's nothing specific, but it could be a guitar riff, a lyrical reference, a beat. And then I just build from there. I always have this philosophy with writing that I don't intentionally try to write a specific song or style.
Okay.
I just start creating with the tools that are around me and see what kind of comes from that.
Cool.
I feel that if I was intentionally writing music, it wouldn't sound anything like the stuff I'm putting out.
Right. Totally. Well,
Yeah, I mean, I'd be writing some pop folk, you know, love songs or something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that, man. And I really like that, that you kind of like allowing the songs to just like grow and become, right? You know?
It's a hard process. I relate it to painting, like, you know, like fine art painting. Is you got this blank canvas and it's like, you know, okay, well, I like working with, you know, messy brushes or graffiti paint or whatever. You know, I'm not like a fine oil painter.
Right.
So there is some like direction there, but at the end of the day, it's a white canvas and you have to put a mark down on that page to start somewhere. You have to have some starting point.
Right.
But then it's going to take you in some direction that you may not anticipate.
Right. Oh, that's fun. So do you feel like it's like when you're writing and coming up with this stuff, does it feel like a big reveal? Like you're discovering it kind of like it's showing itself to you as do you get surprised, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Sometimes I'm pleasantly surprised. Sometimes you're disappointed.
Sure.
That doesn't sound like it does in my head. Why not?
Right.
But I always thought of this analogy of creating. I mean, this might get into more of the metaphysics of this world that we live in, but basically all these songs exist out there in the universe in a way. You know, they've already been created and designed, and you're going out into this vast desert with a shovel, and you got to dig it out and find it and polish it up and present it to the world. I like that. There's a lot of digging involved, and it's exhausting. But when you find that buried treasure in that one moment, it's motivating.
Right. Totally. Oh, I like that a lot. I like that. Good analogies here. And then you recently had a release show for this album, right? Did you not?
I did. We started playing live a year ago.
Oh,
And,
cool.
yeah, we finally have played now a handful of shows at an assorted amount of clubs and dive bars
Mm-hmm.
in Minneapolis. And my dear friend played drums with me live. He's also been on a few of the recordings over the years,
Okay.
playing percussion and some drums. And finally, we've played together for years, so
Mm-hmm.
it was really easy for us to say, our goal with this is just to have fun and play around. We played a show last year, and we knew no one was going to show up, and not many people showed up. I said, it doesn't matter. We get to play together, and we get to play through a big PA system
Right.
with a sound guy.
Totally.
That's a win.
Yeah. Totally. So it's you, there's a drummer, anyone else, or what's the instrumentation like live?
Yeah, so live I'm running. Oh man, it's a multitask situation because
Right.
I'm playing guitar, doing the vocals, and I'm running electronics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running the beats and effects on the beats and the vocals. And then my drummer isn't a traditional drummer in that he has a trap set. He kind of has half of a trap set with a djembe African drum
Oh,
and
wow.
a cowbell and percussion elements.
Right.
So it kind of just becomes this, this new creature.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a really fun live show. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we had so much fun. We just had our CD release. CD release. I still call it a CD release.
Right.
So
I
we didn't
know.
even make
Right.
CDs.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just played at the Terminal Bar in Northeast Minneapolis, which, to my surprise, has been there for nearly 100 years, and it's
Wow.
a great dive bar.
It is.
And
Yeah.
we had a blast. We played pretty much the entire album, some older Future Babel tracks, and then a handful of covers.
Cool. What was the reception like? Were there? Did you get a decent crowd or?
Actually, yeah, I was surprised with the crowd that night. They were having a lot of fun. I was having fun. I had some family there and some friends, but
Cool.
you always look for the strangers who are getting into it too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, those new ears, right? Totally. Oh man, I'm gonna have to come up there and catch a show.
I'd love it.
Definitely. So okay, here's the big question about playing live. And it's not just playing live, but here's the big question in my mind anyway. It's gonna now it's gonna fizzle out when I ask it. Do you prefer playing with humans or machines?
Good questions.
Right. I mean, because you do a mix of both, right?
Yeah, the control freak in me likes working with machines.
Right. I hear that.
But if you're all machine, you lose out on that organic flow and that sort of accidental wabi-sabi improvisation.
Right.
And that's what we get when we play guitar, drums, have a couple too many beers, and stuff just starts to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That sounds fun. That sounds super fun.
I guess I like both.
So
equally.
both.
I
Yeah.
like them mixed together, though.
Right. Oh, like
It's not
cyborgs.
really one or the other.
Like a cyborg.
Exactly.
set. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. A little bit of human element, but yeah, but shows up on time and all that. Right.
Yeah, there was this band that used to tour. They used to play in Fargo when I lived there years ago, and it was a guy, and he literally had homemade robots on stage.
Really?
Yeah, I can't think of the name. He still plays. I saw him coming through town.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was quite the show.
Cool. Did you ever? What was that? You ever see that band Man Planet?
No, never heard of it.
They're not cyborgs, but they everything they do is kind of space themed, and every band member is a different color, kind of, and they act kind of robotic on stage sometimes. But yeah, they were a thing. I don't know, way back '90s, I guess. But I think they re-released an album or something recently. I saw. I don't know. Anyway,
Good for them.
Yeah,
I'll look them up, but it's always nice when you see those bands kind of make little comeback, nostalgic comebacks.
Yeah, nostalgic little comebacks, So yeah, it's kind of fun. Let's see, where are we here? Let's get into another song before I get too long-winded here. We'll play another song for folks. I'm here talking to Future Babel tonight. Future Babel has a new album out called Cyber Sunday, and we're playing through that for you tonight and talking about it. This next track is called The Sky is Falling, and you're listening to it on The Sound right here on 89.5 KQAL.
The sun still sets, so I'm driving west, fueling every second in my Sunday best. I'm drifting, dozing off at the wheel, surroundings are blurred and the scene is surreal. But now I'm wide awake and both fast asleep, counting every finger right along to the beat. All you gotta do is watch your future streaming by and forget your past with just a little try. I do it all the time, walking through walls again, hanging the hooks in everything I said, setting my sun until it's red, and killing my time until I'm dead. In the middle of the night, with the stars overhead, I realize the sky is falling. The brilliance is so
That was The Sky is Falling, and that's from the latest album from Future Babel called Cyber Sunday, and we have Future Babel on the phone with us tonight. Mr. Babel, I just wanted to say that.
That works.
So since you have a bulk of this material already kind of recorded, what is your process? Like, how does it work to put it together as an album? Do you have all these, like are the albums all complete and done, or is it like a bulk of songs that you pull from? Like, how do you put all this together to release it?
Yeah, it's sort of a challenging curation of songs because, I think we talked years ago about how I had created this mass of 100 demos
right
through a very long hot summer, and then because I don't limit myself to a specific genre or style, I had to kind of then go back and curate. Okay, these songs fit together. These songs fit together. And then in the meantime, over the years, I've also been adding to that pile of 100. So I've probably added, I don't know, another 40 or 50 demos. And, to be fair, most of them are kind of cruddy. But,
they're in the works, right?
In the works, yeah. They're works in progress. And you get those little gems every once in a while and you polish them up and they either work or they don't.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a matter of trying to curate. With Cyber Sunday, the song Big Bang, you had played and pointed out, that wasn't supposed to be on this album.
Oh.
I had another track that I've played live called We're All Gonna Die.
Oh, wow.
Which isn't as negative as it sounds. It's actually an optimistic song.
Okay, cool.
But I love the song. People love dancing to it, but it just didn't quite fit with this album. And I swapped it out with Big Bang, which was supposed to go on the next album. So I might have to bring back We're All Gonna Die on the next one.
Wow, cool.
Which, I got to say, right before we started chatting, I was in my studio and I'm working on the next album. I I can't stop. The first one gets done, and the very next day, I'm just on to the next one.
Awesome. I love that. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And you know,
it's a sick obsession.
well, that's just it. It's like, you know, I mean, I've heard everything from artists describing music as like a puzzle to like therapy to like an addiction to like, you know, but it's like you're driven, right? It's a motivation that you just can't like stop, right? You know, which is a good thing, I think.
If you stop thinking about it, you go crazy. So
it
keeps.
So you just have to keep doing it, right? Yeah, totally. Do you ever so when you're like picking through the songs that your big bag of songs or whatever it may be, and like deciding what goes on the record or album, I should say, do you ever then like re-record or tweak stuff, like, you know, or is it just done and you're just kind of curating and compiling?
There's lots of tweaking. There's lots of rearranging the composition.
Oh, okay.
I've tried to be, as I develop, you know, as a guitar player and musician, I have no formal training in music. I don't really know what I'm doing. So I'm trying to learn more of the theory and, okay, if I can change the key of this song, is it more comfortable with my range?
Right.
So I've been doing a lot more of that lately. So yeah, there's still a lot that goes into it. But, you know, right before you called, I was changing the key on a bridge of a new song to fit the chorus so that it flowed better, and stuff that I maybe didn't think about as much 10 years ago. I'm trying to be more in tune to.
Right. Well, then when you start putting songs together as a whole work of like an album, you know, they have to there's got to be a common thread, right? It's got to fit together, right?
Yeah, it's like a great movie. There has to be sort of the slower intro and then the build up to the tension, and then the bridge is sort of the second build up to the end there. Totally.
Oh my gosh. And that's something I want to get into here too, is like, you know, thematically and kind of the whole idea of concepts, you know, and albums. But let's play. I want to play the next two tracks together if we can. I want to play those because I want to talk about these a lot. And one of them, Sprinkles here. This was the first song I played on the air last Friday, and just love it. Oh my gosh, good tune, man. So yeah, let's play these couple tunes, and then we'll come back and talk some more. I'm talking to Future Babel. Future Babel has a new album out called Cyber Sunday, and we're playing through that and talking about it. These next two tunes, we're going to play Armageddon, followed by Sprinkles. And you're listening to them on The Sound right here on 89.5 KQAL.
I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will be like the Most High God. All the children of God, isn't that wonderful? Light and simple. Armageddon.
That was Sprinkles, and that's from the new album by Future Babel called Cyber Sunday. And before that, we heard the track Armageddon. And I have Future Babel on the phone with us tonight. So, dude, like, okay, so I wanted to play those two together. To me, like, well, I gravitated towards Sprinkles right away. That was, like I said, that's the first song I played personally on the air here on KQAL. But I wanted to include Armageddon before it because to me it sounds like Armageddon's kind of chaotic, kind of frenetic, you know, and then like Sprinkles comes along and it kind of tightens up, you know.
Yep.
So when you're putting these together and curating the album and deciding what goes next to what, like, is that intentional? Like you were mentioning a movie, how, you know, you got the kind of lull and then the action happens. Like, how intentional is this where you put the songs in the feeling that it's giving the listener?
I mean, for me, it's very important. So
Okay.
very intentional.
Sure.
I think a song like Armageddon, if we're even calling it a song, I like to think of it more as sound art.
Oh, yeah, cool.
With, you know, musical instruments. But, you know, those are just those weird, quirky interludes that sort of break the album up into sections. And because it's such a strange song, it can be off-putting, so you got to be careful with the placement. But like you said,
Right.
then it smooths out to Sprinkles, which I didn't think people were going to like the song Sprinkles, and that seems to be one that people are really drawn to.
Wow, interesting.
I mean, I'm always wrong about that. I'm like, oh, this is the single. This is the one everyone will love, and it's never that one.
Yeah. I think that's a common occurrence with artists, you know?
I think so.
Yeah. It's funny how the audience, how we view things differently than you guys, than the artist does, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That's super interesting, man. Well, and I think, okay, so some of it, like you said, the tension can sometimes be off-putting, but then it makes, like in this particular example, Armageddon, it makes Sprinkles feel that much more like we've landed, and it feels so solid then. You know what I mean? At least that was my take on it, you know?
No, I agree. And I always think about, I just took this tour of a Frank Lloyd Wright house.
Oh, cool.
And the architect kept talking about his philosophy on what he called compression and expansion.
Ooh.
So the rooms were expansive, but the passageways and the hallways to get to the room were compressed.
Yeah.
So you'd go down this tiny room, and then it would just open up to this, you know, magnificent room. And I think songs can do the same thing.
Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh, that's a good point. I think, and there's a lot of devices people use to do that, right? I think you even mentioned changing the key of a song before. I've recently been looking into that type of thing, key changes, you know, and I never realized this before. You always think of a key change, you know, all of a sudden they've modulated up, you know, that's very standard to do, but I never realized that Metallica does a lot of key changes, but they do it like in a different way. They'll modulate up, but in a slow manner so that they can drop it down real quick again, you know? And
that's interesting. Do you have any specific examples?
I believe, well, the Black Album, I know it's pretty prominent on that. And I'm not positive, but I think it happens in Enter Sandman. I'm not positive. Don't quote me on that. But I know it happens several times throughout that record.
And they do it so well that maybe
they do it
that's
so
why.
Yeah, and you don't notice until they do the drop, until they drop back down to the original key, and it's like, whoa, what just happened? You know?
Oh man,
yeah.
When you can pull it off, it's so like it's like a primal pleasure,
right?
in your subconscious.
Totally. Yeah, it's like in EDM when the beat drops, you know, it's like,
totally.
You know, it's like, whoa, everybody feels that, you know. So when you're writing this stuff, is that in your head too? Like when you, because you mentioned that Big Bang wasn't supposed to be on this. It was supposed to be a different tune. It was supposed to be on a different album. Like when you're writing, are you thinking, okay, this goes in this record with these songs around it? Like, you know, is that where it starts? Like,
you might have to ask me that again.
Oh yeah, like when you're writing a song and you're thinking, like Big Bang for example, and you're like, that was supposed to be on the next record. Like when you were writing it, are you imagining the other songs around it and everything? Like, do you have a picture of the whole record in your mind as you're writing each individual song? I guess.
I have a picture, but nothing is intentional because I never try and write for a specific record. I'm just going to write the song and figure out later what record, if any, it goes on. And then sometimes you get those weird songs that this doesn't fit on anything, and then you release it as a single. So, you know, Beck had a great song called Wow a few years ago.
Okay, yeah.
And it's such a unique sonic little adventure, but I see why he released that as a single. It's like it just doesn't fit on any of these albums at all.
Right, yeah. So just release it on its own, right? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's, you know, yeah. And it's an interesting time period that we live in, I think, for that reason. Streaming and singles versus albums, you know, I mean, oh my God, there's a bunch of rabbit holes we could go down with that for sure.
Absolutely.
And I kind of want to dive down that rabbit hole a little bit.
Sure.
Let's play another couple tunes. We'll play the next 2 tracks and then come back and talk about that. Yeah, definitely. I'm here talking to Future Babel. They have a new album out called Cyber Sunday, and we're playing through that for you, giving you a preview of that. Well, not preview, but a breakdown, basically, and talking about it. This next track is called The Crown, and you're listening to it on The Sound right here in 89.5 KQAL.
I'm king of the hill, I'm burial mound, full stop, now I'm coming around. I have no patience for the trials and tribulations that keep dragging me down. Woman falls out of forges iron, all the sirens keep on singing in my head. The time is moving faster, and I can be a bastard when disaster strikes. When the waiting starts to sting, and the poor back down, cry out for their king. But the Savior has sold them out for a little bit of gold, jewels on their crown. So take a knee and bow down, and allow me to make my case from the inside of my rattling cage. When I'm sick and tired and the object of my desire is a basic level of comfort. I don't need your money, I just think it's funny how it goes to your head. I don't fear the flood or a little blood, 'cause my cup runneth over with love. From the flatlands through the hell gate, there's no free will with the fate's on. So I'm sorry if my memory is a little bit unsettling, but I've been buried in a hole inside a catacomb of skulls and bones, staring at a cellular phone as a scroll. Oh damn, I wish I had a little more self-control. When the waiting starts to sting, and the poor bow down and cry out for their king, but the Savior has sold them out for another drink and more jewels on their crown. So fuck the monarchy unless I'm king. People say that happiness is a gift. Well, no I'll put it down on my list. Truth is, I think that I finally got the gist. I'm so happy I'm pissed. Little blue dreams, yeah, I got magic guides. If happiness is a gift, I'm so happy I'm pissed. I'd live, laugh, love, but I'm stuck in a cage, and the only thing for breakfast is a bowl full of rage. So check your script, get the facts now. It's a just a same life now. All the hypocrites in the scrap. What's so funny?
That was Happiness, and that is a track off the new album by Future Babel called Cyber Sunday. And before that, we heard The Crown. And we have Future Babel on the phone with us tonight. All right, man. So, like, concept albums is kind of where my head is going here with this stuff, right? And storytelling. I think, what was it? Last Saturday was Record Store Day. So this weekend, I ended up watching a couple documentaries about vinyl. And one of the folks that they interviewed, it was just a random guy in a store, right? But he said that storytelling, right? It's a very human thing. We've done it forever. And he likened a vinyl record to just another method to tell a story, you know, which I totally agree. And a very special one at that, I believe. You know, I love albums, you know. But so like concept albums, which, you know, I don't know if does this totally fit into a concept album? You know, like you said, it's like a mini series, you know, with different parts and stuff. In the age of streaming, where do you think that fits in? You know, because you have to be kind of intentional to sit down and listen to this as a whole story, you know, which I enjoy doing. But in this day and age, it seems like it's more popular just to have singles on a playlist, right? What are your thoughts on that, you know, and where does this fit in?
Yeah. The listening world has changed. I think, you're always fighting that for the attention span of who's ever listening. And that varies from person to person. We're in the age of singles. We're in the age of shorter songs. But I still think there's always that subset of people who are willing to invest the time. I think with concepts, with a concept record, you have different types. You could have a lyrical concept, or you could have a more utility concept. You know, Dark Side of the Moon has more, you know, utility in the song, in the music and the instrumentals and the production.
Yeah.
But so I think there's different ways to define concept. I think either of those fit. So with Future Babel, or Cyber Sunday is a good example. I try to put concepts within concepts. So I think of each song as a mini concept within the larger piece. So if you get the single, you know, you might get your little daily dose of my philosophical ranting. And if you want to dive more, the whole album fits together too.
Right. Oh, I like that. So it works both ways, you know. I think, let's see. I think you might have mentioned something about this before, but are you releasing physical copies at all? Will there be CDs of this or of Cyber Sunday?
Yeah, my goal is to release a 10-year anniversary remastered vinyl on tour.
Oh my God, awesome.
It's so expensive. I think the only people with CD players anymore are radio stations, and God bless them for it. But I just, I'm going digital for now, and I would love to press vinyl someday, maybe a collector's version.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be super cool. So Cyber Sunday, new record, streaming everywhere. Where can people find out about like future show dates, releases, merch, things like that?
Yeah, so futurebabble.net is updated with any shows and all the music and all the links and socials. And then I'd say for social media posting, it's probably done the most on Instagram and YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Maybe TikTok.
Okay. All the usual suspects.
All the usual. Yeah, suspects is right.
So we should be able to, right. So it should be easy to find you. Sounds good. Sounds good. Do you have any big shows lined up right now? Anything we can look forward to in the near future here?
Well, I'm taking a pause after the CD release. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I keep saying record, so you know.
So like we built up this set and we played these shows and released this album, and it's like, okay, next phase. Now I got to level up, and I'm taking a little pause because I want to revamp the set a little bit and the songs, and I want to bring in some new songs, and I want to add the visual projection element.
Okay.
So there's going to be a short hiatus of, a few months to half a year while I build this show up and figure out all the logistics and whatnot.
Okay, cool. Well, that's
hope to have the next album out in spring, about a year from now.
Oh, okay. Nice. Next album out next spring, and then you'll have a big live show with fireworks and cannons and stuff like that, right?
Yes, lasers,
lasers,
and fog.
yeah.
We have an incident at our CD release show that I got to apologize for. Our fog machine got a little out of control.
No way.
We kind of
smoked the place out.
Up the entire bar. I thought it was great,
right?
But some people in the audience didn't think so.
Yeah. People get.
Oh well.
Yeah, it happens. Well, better than when I was in high school, we had friends who would make their own fire. I don't know what you call those. In a coffee can, anyway, burn the roof of the garage. So,
oh my God.
So they weren't supposed to go that high and big, but they did.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, Future Babel, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Absolutely love the album. Again, I mean, you put out great stuff, man, and it just is. It just is.
Well, I thank you for spinning it. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. It helps me get on to the next one.
Oh, for sure. And I think I don't know where you fit in genre-wise, but it's an area that I think is underserved, basically. That melding and melting of organic kind of rock music with like electronic stuff. I don't think we can have too many people doing that. So thank you for providing this for us. It's fantastic. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
For sure. Well, I've been here talking to Future Babel tonight, and there's a new album out called Cyber Sunday. So that's what we've been talking about, playing through. Go to futurebabel.net for more information on it and get all the goodies there. Again, thanks so much for joining us tonight, man.
Thank you so much.
All right. And this is the last tune on the album for Cyber Sunday. It's called Shapeshift, and you're listening to it on the Sound right here on 89.5 KQAL.
We are coming out of the darkness into the light. We are coming into a new world, a kindlier world, where men will rise above their hate, their greed, and brutality. Look up. The soul of man has been given wings, and at last he is beginning to fly. He is flying into the rainbow, into the light of hope, into the future, the glorious future that belongs to you, to me, and to all of us.
Thanks again to Future Babble for joining us tonight on The Sound. For showtimes, merch, or to hear more from Future Babble, go to futurebabble.net. For more deep dives into local and regional albums, tune into The Sound every Wednesday night at 6, right here on 89.5 KQAL. You can also listen to past episodes of The Sound on your favorite streaming services. Find links at kqal.org. I'm Bill Stoneberg, and we've been listening to Cyber Sunday, the latest release from Future Babble on The Sound. Thanks for listening to The Sound. The Sound is produced by KQAL-FM on the campus of Winona State University. Visit us online at kqal.org. Theme music for The Sound provided by Mike Terrell of Fires of Denmark.